Now, our implementation of EAS is better because number one, we have encrypted messaging. So if a user downloads certificate from the server, I can encrypt my message using AES 256 algorithm.
Yeah.
You know, and then send it over to my colleague. And if my colleague has the right certificate as well, then that person can decrypt it and read my message.
Good.
It has never been implemented on Android. Samsung is the first company to implement encrypted messaging. And then, yeah, and Samsung also has 2010 server support. So EAS 2010 is the latest version of EAS server. And like, for example, what's your name?
Kinheng.
Huh?
Kinheng.
Kinheng. So if Kinheng and I work in the same company,
Ken's Tech Tips, yeah?
I can actually look up his phone number from the company address book without really having him in my contacts.
I see. So you could like a
The global address lookup, we call it.
Like a cloud service.
Yeah. So,
server-side address book, yeah?
So it's called GALS lookup. So global address lookup. So that's possible. And also, what's neat about this implementation is that if he's putting his schedules, I can check his schedule with my thing. So if I'm like making a calendar entry, I'm inviting him to a meeting, then I can see whether he's busy or available for 3 to 4 p.m. on Friday next week, right? For example. So it shows me whether it's red, green, blue, whatever. So those things are available. So we have a demo of that, and I show you this one. Oh, I show you this one. So this is so who's from Germany? All right. So we have a fine German.
I'm working for them. I'm SAP consultant.
Oh yeah. Cool. Fine German company SAP.
SAP,
You know what SAP
very
does,
good.
right? SAP does a lot of business data. So I told you at the beginning that this is great for consuming business data, right? So I'm going to show you some example.
Sorry. You can look that.
So SAP eView. So basically, this is tapping into SAP's ERP database, right? And the administrator of my company has put in some report templates already in here. So, I mean, usually I would do this on my PC, right? Because it's a lot of complicated data tabulation and things like that, right? But with this application, I can check my company data in real time. This is all updated real time. So I'm looking at this one particular graph, right? And what's so neat about this particular program is that the data is downloaded onto the device. So the calculation actually happens on the device, not on the network. So it's very fast.
So it uses the processor.
So the process is picking up on the
So again, I selected that data set, right? And basically, it's going to show me, it's going to recalculate the data and show me the new result. This is
Good company.
What I really like about this stylus is, with Galaxy Note, I can take a snapshot of this, right?
Yeah.
So that's the report, right? Then I can kind of annotate.
Look.
And then I can send it to my colleagues. So this makes the collaboration a lot easier. So this is just a regular SAP application, and then I'm using the stylus. But we also announced the SDK for the S Pen this week.
Yep.
So if SAT wanted to develop their application so that it would actually use the S Pen, it opens up whole new possibilities for business users, right? So that this is SAP. Any questions? No? Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and then I show you the WebEx.
Oh.
Do you know WebEx?
Yep.
Who knows WebEx? So WebEx is if you run a presentation, right? If you run presentation, you can actually view it here.
Oh,
Okay. So 해봐. No. Right, anyway. No, what? 이거 여기서. Okay. All right. So, for example, but our implementation of WebEx is different because, for example, I can go to contact in my phone book and I can start a WebEx meeting right away. So I don't have to go back to the WebEx screen and whatever. And then I can make a call and I'm talking to the other guy and we're talking and we're like, let's take a look at this slide together, right? And then without hanging up, I can just simply click on WebEx button and it will automatically start up the WebEx meeting. And of course, I have to enter the password so the other person can receive it, they have to accept it and stuff like that. But once the meeting is set up, then I can freely share slides, data, screens, and things like that on my device. So, have you seen the WebEx session?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, say hello to Juyeon.
Hi.
안녕.
Yeah. So Juyeon can actually show you how to do WebEx here. Okay. And then say hello to Scott.
Hey, Scott.
How's it doing?
So we can move over to Scott, and Scott will show you how Juno's Purse VPN works, okay? Go ahead.
I'll show you later.
Hey, Scott.
How you guys doing? So what I'm going to show is how the layer 3 VPN gives corporations access to internal resources easily. So when you need to access a corporate resource, typically you have to be on the corporate network. Your email, anything like that, any Web 2.0 applications, you have to be on the corporate network in order to access those resources. They don't want to make those public. So what we have here is we have a test server setup called Acme Gizmo, and it simulates what would be an email server or something like that, some corporate network. And when you're not connected to the VPN and you try to connect to that resource, web page not available. You simply can't get to it. You're not on the network. What the layer 3 VPN can do is allow you to be on the corporate network from anywhere. So what we got is Juno's Pulse. Come in and you connect. And we have a demo account set up to show everybody. And the credentials are Samsung 1, number 1. Oh, 1A. All lowercase, and then Juniper 123, an uppercase J. So this is basically a person's username and password for them to log on to their corporate network. Once you log on, so what you have here is what most application layer VPNs are. You come inside your application and you access the internet through an internal web browser. But nobody wants to be forced to use an internal web browser. You want to just be able to use the web browser. You want your email to go through the VPN. You want your games to go through the VPN. You want everything that you use to go through that corporate VPN, so it's all encrypted. So what Juno's Pulse does is once you're connected, it's a layer 3 VPN, meaning everything on the device, all data that leaves the device goes through that VPN. So now if I come back to the web browser and I try to access that same web page, Acme Gizmo, this time it's there. I can use it. I'm on the corporate network. This data is encrypted. Doesn't matter what application I use, everything's encrypted.
Cool.
And that's what a layer 3 VPN is. Any questions?
No, thank you very much.
Question: so the built-in VPN for Android, that's layer 3 as well, right? But it's just not as secure.
The built-in, I think it's just not security correct.
Okay, so it's just not as the encryption is
the
not as good.
encryption, and it's I don't even know much about the. It's not even. There's a reason that Samsung is coming to Juniper.
Yeah.
Uh,
I understand.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, you got to use what the corporate.
I believe that you have to have software sitting on the corporate network for it to connect to. And that software itself isn't very good.
Yeah.
The Juniper VPN, it's hardware based, so you have hardware resources sitting on the network, the endpoint.
Yeah.
So it's much more efficient. You can 200, 300, 400,000 devices can connect to it.
Yeah.
No worries about that. So it's much more robust, much more enterprise focused.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you.
That's cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ja, er ist auf dem Weg, er ist gerade bei Aldi.
So I think us to handle all of this stuff.